Hello everyone, this is Charulatha. Welcome back to my channel. Now we discuss about the evaluation of web development. The internet began in the late 1960s and as an experiment. Its goal was to create a truly resilient information network, one that could withstand the loss of several computers without preventing the others from the communicating. Driven by the potential disaster such as the nuclear attack, the US Department of Defense provided the initial funding. The early internet was mostly limited to the educational institution and defense contractors. It polarized as a tool for academic collaboration, allowing researchers across the globe to share information. In 1990s, modems was created that could work for existing phone lines and the internet began to open up the commercial uses. In 1993, the first HTML browsers was created and the internet revolution began. And we move to the HTML. It would be difficult to describe the earlier website as web application. Instead, the first generation of website often looked more like the browsers, consisting mostly of fixed HTML pages that needed to be updated by hand. Yeah, basic HTML page is little like a word processing document. It contains a formatted content that can be displayed on your computer, but it does not actually do anything. uh, I put here the for example in HTML. The following examples shows the HTML at its simplest with a document that contains a heading and single line. HTML tag and header and title of the page, and we are closing to the tags. And HTML document has two types of contents, the text and the elements. That means elements or tags that tell the browser how to format it. The elements are easily recognizable because they are designed with the angular brackets. And HTML defines the elements for different levels of headings, paragraph, hyperlinks, italic and bold formatting, horizontal lines, and so on. For example, in H1 tag, some text, and closing the H1 tags uses the H1 element. This element tells the browser to display some text in the heading 1 style with use a large and bold font. Similarly, the P tag, that means paragraph. This is the sample web page. Okay, the paragraph tag. This is the sample web page, and closing the paragraph tag creates a paragraph with one line of text. The head element groups the header the information together, including the title that appears in the browser window. While the body element groups together the actual document content that displayed in the browser window. Okay, and then I will put the sample output. The simple HTML page in a browser. Right now, this is just a fixed file named sample web page heading.html that contains the HTML content. It has no interactivity, does not require a web page server, and certain cannot be considered a web application. And we move to the HTML form, that is HTML 2.0 introduced the first seed of web programming with a technology called HTML forms. HTML forms expand the HTML so that it includes not only formatting tag but also tags for graphical widgets or controls. These controls include common ingredients such as the drop down list, text boxes and checkboxes and buttons. Here I put some sample web pages created with the HTML form control. That is HTML header and title and following others. In HTML form, all controls are be placed between the form tag and form closing tags. The preceding example includes two checkboxes presented by the input type checkbox for this element, and a button presented by the input type submit element. The break element adds a line break in between lines. In a browser, this page looks like look like this. So the HTML form allows web application developers to design the standard input pages. When the user clicks the submit button on the page shown in this figure. So all the data input in the input controls in the case of two checkboxes, is patched together into the one long string for text and sent to the web server. And then HTML forms more than 10 years ago are still the basic foundation that you will use the build dynamic ASP.NET pages. The differences is the type of application that runs on the server side. In the past, when the user clicked the button on a form page, the information might have been emailed to the set of account or sent to an application on the server that used as a challenging common gateway interface standard, that is GCI. Today I will work with the much more of the capable and elegant ASP.NET platform. We meet to the next topic is server side programming. That is to understand why ASP.NET was created. It helps to understand the problems of early web development technologies with the original CGI standard. For example, the web server must launch the completely separate instance of applications for each web request. If the website is popular, the web server struggles under the weight of hundreds of separated copies of application, eventually becoming a victim of its own success. Furthermore, technologies such as the CGI provided the bare bones of programming environment. If you want to higher level features like the ability to authenticated users, store personalized informations or display the records you have retrieved from a database, you need to write the pages of code from scratch. Building a web application this way is error prone. The original ASP platform guaranteed a huge audience of nearly 1 million developers, becoming far more popular than even Microsoft anticipated. It was not long before it was being wedged into all sorts of unusual places. That's where ASP.NET comes into the picture. ASP.NET was developed as an industrial strength web application framework that could address the limitations of ASP compared to the classic ASP, and ASP.NET offers the better performance and better design tools and a rich set of ready-made features. ASP.NET was widely popular from the moment it was released. In a fact, it was put to work in dozen of large-scale commercial websites. And then we move to this client-side programming. At the same time that server-side web development was moving through the alphabet of technologies, a new type of programming was gaining popularity. Developers began to experiment with the different ways they could enhance the web pages by embedding miniatures applets, but with the JavaScript, ActiveX, Java, and Flash into web pages. These client-side technologies do not involve any server processing. Instead, the complete application is downloaded to the client browser, which executes locally. The greatest problem with the client-side technology is that they are not supported equally by all the browsers and operating system. One of the reasons that the web development is so popular in the first place is because Web application do not require the setup, CDs, downloads, and other deployment steps. So the developers are forced to test their websites with a different operating system and browsers, and they might even need to distribute the browser updates to their clients. In other words, the client-side model sacrifices some of the most important benefits of web development. For the reason, the ASP.NET is designed as a server-side technology. All ASP.NET code execute on the server. When the code is finished executing, the user receives an ordinary HTML page, which can be viewed in any browser. The difference between the server side and the client side model, in this pictures, or it shows the difference between the server side and client side model. So these are some other reasons for avoiding client side programming, that is isolation, security, and thin clients. So isolation means client side code cannot access server side resources. For example, a client side application has no easy way to read a file or interact with the database on the server. And the security means the end user can view the client side code, and once malicious users understand how an application works, they can often tamper with it the security. And another one is thin clients. As the internet continues to evolve, web enabled devices such as mobile phones, palm top computers, and PDAs, that is personal digital assistants, are appearing. These devices can communicate with web servers, but they do not support all the features of traditional browsers. Thin clients can use the server-based web application, but they won't support client-side features such as JavaScript. So this is evaluation of web development. So thank you for watching. I hope the session is very informative. Thank you. Thank you, students.